Hello and welcome, my friends, to 30 Challenges to Enlightenment. I hope this finds you doing extraordinarily well. I hope this finds you in a place of tranquility and gratitude. Um, but I also realize that there's a reason you bought this course, and you're hoping something at the moment is perhaps amiss, or you sense that there's much potential for additional growth in your life. And so I'm extraordinarily glad that you bought this course because I think you've come to the right place. If you're ready to dig in, 30 Challenges to Enlightenment can be exceptionally powerful for you. So first things first, welcome to the course. Thank you. Thank you for being here. We love you. I love you. Hello, hello. This video is an introductory video to 30 Challenges to Enlightenment. You should have just received everything you'll need for the course, the Enlightenment map, the Enlightenment guidebook, and your invitation to the Enlightenment Tribe Facebook group. So I'm just going to give you a few introductory pointers to kind of what I think are some of the most important things to have in mind as you embark on this epic quest of 30 Challenges to Enlightenment. So, first of all, 30 Challenges to Enlightenment can be an intense 900-day obstacle course of the will if you elect to do each challenge one by one in linear order. Now, this is truly a Herculean accomplishment, and to this day, very few people have completed 30 Challenges to Enlightenment because it's truly an epic trek. So if you feel called to do that, there's a reason why we mapped out this particular track, and we do think that going through this track will be extraordinarily powerful for you. However, on the other hand, you can also treat 30 Challenges to Enlightenment as more of a choose-your-own-adventure game. You can, in essence, the biggest lesson I want to communicate to you right now is that this course is a tool. Above all, it's a tool that you should make work for you. It's a customizable tool to make work for you. So you can treat it as a choose-your-own-adventure game, meaning you can simply do the challenges that you feel called to do at any given time. The ones, maybe in life you're struggling with drinking or smoking and you want to do the HighExistence challenge, or maybe you're struggling socially and you want to do the social butterfly challenge, or maybe you really want to kickstart your creativity, so you want to do Da Vinci's Apprentice or something like this, or maybe you've just been having so many problems with procrastination, you want to try anti-procrastinator, or maybe you've been watching too many risque videos and you want to do sensuality spark. So there's a lot of different ways you can use this course, and we really encourage you to treat it as a tool and make it your own. And in the intro to the guidebook, you'll see more instruction on this, but I just wanted to cover this here right up front and tell you, make this course work for you. It's a tool. It's not intended to be a dictator or a guilt trip machine. In Western culture. We've been quite conditioned, kind of by Christianity or Christian kind of the philosophical undercurrents of Christianity that operate in our culture to be quite hard on ourselves and to kind of have this strict view of kind of success or failure, or good and bad, sinfulness and virtue, and we really want to be careful with this course not to use this as something that's reinforcing that kind of dysfunctional pattern. It's not something where it's not something that's meant to make you feel bad about yourself because you're not completing enough challenges, or you missed a few days of a challenge. If it's making you feel bad about yourself, you should use it differently, because that's not how it's intended. Although discomfort is certainly part of the course. Discomfort is an important part of growing stronger and learning about ourselves. And a big part of 30 Challenges to Enlightenment is voluntary discomfort, which was kind of a crucial element of Stoicism. And as well as we say in the introduction to the course is also meant to be kind of a living, breathing version of Friedrich Nietzsche's gymnastics of the will. This idea of kind of this training environment, this kind of using ascetic practices and spiritual practices as kind of a training ground to build the will and to strengthen yourself, strengthen your mind, body, and soul, so that you can really develop yourself and actualize yourself to higher levels of being. So those are some ways to think about the course, and it's just really important to remember that there is no way to fail 30 Challenges to Enlightenment. There's no way to fail unless you don't try at all. You bought this course, you invested in it, put forth an effort, do some of the challenges. I'll talk more about this in a moment, but even doing a couple challenges can be tremendously valuable for you. So I strongly encourage you to use this tool that you bought, put in some effort, and know that there's no way to fail. Another point is that 30-day challenges, as you probably already believe, having bought this course, I just want to reiterate, these are extremely powerful tools for disrupting ingrained patterns and opening up a space for new habits to blossom. So 30-day challenges are truly really nice kind of pattern disrupts. You undertake a challenge, you make the commitment to change something about your behavior, to either add something new or to stop doing something that maybe is getting out of control. And it really disrupts your pattern. You learn a lot about yourself, and it opens up a space where a healthier, more life-affirming, more sacred set of habits can develop. So 30-day challenges are extremely powerful, but again, to reiterate, they don't work unless you actually do them. This course is really a course that's fundamentally about taking action. The course is fundamentally about taking action. The guidebook is, we think, extremely important and valuable in its own right, and we want you to read the guidebook and read the section for each challenge that you're going to do to gain additional insight and to use the reflection questions to journal about your process. This is extremely valuable, but ultimately, the quintessential, the transcendent and extremely powerful value of this course is in taking the action of doing the challenges. It is through the doing of the challenges and the doing of these life experiments that you're going to learn an immense amount about yourself and about the world and about how to live wisely and kind of how to develop this meta skill of breaking bad habits, developing good ones, and just gradually moving in a direction of greater levels of well-being, greater levels of self-actualization, greater levels of enlightenment. So keep that in mind. Fundamentally a course about taking action. And again, I said I'd touch on this in a moment. Really, if you do multiple of these challenges, even a couple, we strongly believe you'll already have gotten your value out of this course. That's how powerful 30-day challenges are. Really, you do a handful of 30-day challenges and they can actually completely change your life, completely uproot bad patterns and implant new ones, or at least give you the self-understanding to see what kind of the issues really are that are holding you back in your life and what you need to work on and what direction you need to move in to attain a life that's more in alignment with your soul and your values and who you want to become and kind of your innate divine potential. So do a couple challenges at the very least. Put in that effort. Ideally do many more. But again, there's no way to fail, but put forth a substantial effort and you will be rewarded, basically, is the message here. Put forth whatever effort you put forth, you're going to be rewarded for through this course. You can think of this course as a training environment that you're superimposing over your normal life. So one of the most powerful lessons I've learned in recent years is that your environment is probably the absolute biggest factor in what your life looks like on a day-to-day basis. Your environment conditions you in so many directions. Every environment has a certain gravity to it that is going to pull you in certain directions. And so a huge lesson for me in recent times has been to optimize my environment as much as possible in terms of where I live and how I set up my living space and how I set up my social life and whether I'm living in a city or in the country. Optimize your environment, and you'll optimize your life for the habits and behaviors that you want to implement. But you can think of 30 Challenges to Enlightenment as a kind of new environment that you're overlaying over your normal life that is basically just completely optimized for your growth and your enlightenment and your learning and your perpetual process of evolution. So if you think of it that way, and you take the challenges seriously and really consider yourself to be in this new training environment that has been overlaid atop your life, and you hang up the enlightenment map and you look at it every day and you take it seriously, you're undoubtedly going to uncover new capacities, new potentials within yourself, and a lot of self-understanding. You're going to build willpower and discipline and improve your habits, become healthier, all that good stuff. So think of it as a training environment. One of the final points that I want to make is about self-love. Now, a fantastic definition of self-love that I've heard is that self-love means treating yourself like you would treat a dear friend of yours or a newborn child version of yourself. Treat a dear friend or a newborn child version of yourself. Let that sink in for a moment. That's what self-love looks like. How would you treat a dear friend, or how would you treat yourself if you were a newborn child? You would nurture, you would show love, you would do whatever you could to promote that being's health and prosperity. And yet, so often we get caught up in behaviors in this world that are clearly not how we would treat a dear friend or our newborn child self. And when we engage in those behaviors, we're not really loving ourselves, are we? We're not taking care of ourselves. We're delivering the message to ourselves and our bodies that we don't really respect and love ourselves. We don't really appreciate ourselves enough to take care of ourselves. So I think a huge attribute of 30 Challenges to Enlightenment is that it's really about learning to love yourself and take care of yourself in a deeper way. By cultivating sacred habits and breaking kind of poisonous, life-denying, draining habits, you're literally loving yourself more and more. The better care of yourself that you're taking, the more you're loving yourself and learning to love yourself and stepping into that. And then, of course, the other thing that you're doing by doing these challenges is learning to liberate your mind and attain a tranquility that you can carry with you in all circumstances, a kind of spaciousness that can allow you to feel content and stay calm in the midst of chaos and in the midst of life's struggles and twists and turns. You can stay centered within yourself, and cultivating that capacity is also a form of self-love. So keep that in mind as you embark on this course. I want to welcome you once again to 30 Challenges to Enlightenment. I'm really glad you're here. It's great to see you. You're about to learn a whole lot about yourself, and that's a beautiful thing. Hopefully, you're about to initiate a lifelong process of learning and growth, because that's really what this is all about. It's not about doing a few challenges and then magically reaching some final destination. No, what we're all about at HighExistence is an ongoing, lifelong process of learning, growth, and evolution. And just progressively attaining higher stages of development, higher stages of well-being, higher ideals, higher degrees of enlightenment, self-actualization, prosperity, performance, all these dimensions. And so that's really what 30 Challenges is trying to initiate, just this lifelong growth process. So cheers to perpetual evolution. Reach out in the Enlightenment Tribe Facebook group if you have any questions or comments or want to share. Sharing is caring, and everything you give comes back to you. Don't forget that. And yeah, once more, cheers to perpetual growth and learning and evolution. Cheers to a high existence. Good luck to you, and we love you. We love you, and I love you, and thank you for taking this course.